All right, we brought up Jerry Jeudy. We already talked about Jerry Jeudy getting traded to the Browns, but what had not happened yet, guys, was he got a 3-year contract extension, $41 million guaranteed for Jerry Jeudy.
That's Alan Lazard money.
That's more. Can you believe that?
Here's why this is fantasy relevant. I am not the biggest Jerry Jeudy fan, certainly fantasy-wise. He seems to, throughout his NFL career, he's been sort of allergic to the end zone. He is certainly not, after lighting the world on fire at Alabama, Connor, he is certainly disappointed in the pros in terms of the expectations coming in to the league. I think it's fair to say, right?
Easily for a first-round pick.
I mean,
look at CeeDee Lamb in that draft. I mean, yeah.
I mean, and so I don't think, and just, whether he had a good quarterback or bad quarterback, like Cortland Sutton was able to produce in all those offenses where Jerry Jeudy was not. Having said that, while we don't think he's good, and certainly fantasy-wise, I think, because he was a trendy sleeper for a lot of people last year, not me, but he was a trendy sleeper for a lot of people last year. Feels like the bloom is off the rose in the world of fantasy football. But the Cleveland Browns think he's a star. Given this amount of money makes you think that, like, even though we don't like Jerry Jeudy, the Browns really do, because this is a real contract.
A very real contract. I mean, obviously the total's up to 58, but the $41 million guaranteed across 3 years is big-time money. This is big-time money right here. And you look at what's interesting is, what would you rather have? And this isn't meant to pile on the Browns, who clearly love Jerry Jeudy, but Keenan Allen, 1 year left on his deal, going for a 4th-round pick to the Bears. Mike Williams gets up to $15 million. It's going to be a lot less than that on a 1-year deal for the Jets. And then you look at Jeudy getting traded to the Browns, and you're taking on $41 million guaranteed, which you didn't have to do.
I guess the argument is just he's younger than those other guys.
That's very
obviously,
fair.
and that
half as productive.
He's got one season in his NFL career, one season with more than 3 touchdowns. And I understand you can argue some that's about but also that, like, that's a skill. Getting into the end zone, getting yourself in scoring position, targets are earned. And so being open, especially when you're in close, like, that's a skill. And I get that he's not the size of a Cortland Sutton or a Mike Williams or whatever, but
that's
still.
The problem.
But
one-dimensional.
Right. I do think that as we sort of look at the Cleveland Browns passing game, certainly if you're drafting, you feel better about, not you, but the Browns, certainly pecking order-wise, it does seem like it's Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, and then Elijah Moore, right? And then pour all my Cedric Tillman dynasty shares.
Yeah, same.
Thanks, Oh, well. But I still think pass catcher-wise, I'd rather have Cooper, I'd rather have David Njoku, like just in terms of an overall, than Jerry Jeudy. And I would rather take and I think what this will also do is this will certainly depress Elijah Moore's ADP, who, like, they got him some creative, looks last year as well. It seemed like he kind of found himself a little bit in Cleveland last year. So I think I'd probably rather take, like, a last-round flyer on Elijah Moore than, wherever Jerry Jeudy's going to go. Because, by the way, we still don't know if Watson's going to be any good.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, he showed flashes towards the end. And the thing is, like, the last time we saw Deshaun Watson, literally the last time on the field, he's going 14 for 14 in the second half against Baltimore with a fractured shoulder and a high ankle sprain. The best defense in the NFL, arguably, well, they were the best team in the regular season. Now, I think if you're making the case for Jeudy, one, he's 24 years old and he was the 15th pick in the draft. All the physical attributes are still there.
It is crazy to think he's 24.
He's 24 years old. Now, he turns 25 in, like, 3 weeks, but still, he's 24 right now.
It feels like he's been around forever, is the point.
And here have been his starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Drew Lock, Jeff Driscoll, Brett Rippon, Philip Lindsay in the COVID game against the Saints.
Wide receiver Philip Lindsay,
Teddy Bridgewater.
No, it wasn't. It was Kendall Hilton.
Yeah, Kendall Hilton, but they lined up with Lindsay so much in the Wildcat that he, like, statistically counts as the starting quarterback.
But yeah,
a skill player as a quarterback.
And then Russell Wilson, who never threw over the middle and seemed to have more of a connection with Cortland Sutton. I also think, Browns' amazing offensive line. There's going to be more time for Jeudy's routes to develop. I think probably just a better offensive ecosystem in general. And then 2, the Browns, for whatever you think about them signing Deshaun Watson, they have been a very smart organization, very analytically driven. They make the right decisions typically in terms of unearthing plays. So they see something in Jeudy. They have the 2-time Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski.
Where were you?
People forget that.
Thanks. Yeah, people do forget it. People forget it often.
Yes. Some people even at this circular table forget it. So I don't know. I wouldn't give up on Jeudy just because he's 24 years old.
That's fair. The quarterback in laundry list of injuries is scary,
everything
though.
you say is completely solid and logical and makes total sense, and I get it, and I'm still going to be out on him next year. And you know, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I hear you. He's had bad quarterbacks, but again, Courtland Sutton's been able to produce with all those quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
Like we've seen flashes from like Tim Patrick, with some of those guys, right? You know what I mean? Like, and so much is, and poor Steve Smith is like, I don't want to talk about him, but like, and not to bring that back up, but I am bringing it back up. But the one thing I'll say about that though is not to get into the whole skirmish, whatever. But the fact of the matter is like, Steve Smith is, as good a wide receiver as has been like in NFL history. Like Steve Smith knows his blank about why, catching in the NFL. And when Steve Smith is like, yeah, that's just a guy. Yep. You know what I mean? And like, forget whatever the reaction, the back and forth.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, he wasn't wrong.
He's not wrong. That's the thing.
It's just
like, I mean, the production hasn't been there, and you can say, hey, there's something there. But what's crazy to me, Jay, is I hear you. 24 years old, pedigree. He was productive at Alabama. He was great in college. All those things. I understand all that. But to me, it's like then you sign him to. But to still give him $40 million guaranteed or whatever it is, it's all based on upside. It's not based on anything you've ever seen.
Sure, and it's not like Odell Beckham in New York had a great offensive ecosystem and he was still able to produce. Like great players transcend their ecosystem. Wherever Marvin Harrison Jr. goes, he's probably just going to produce.
I mean, like one of my favorite players in the NFL. He's right back there, number 17, Terry McLaurin. Yeah. Why don't you read up the list of quarterbacks Terry McLaurin has had since he's come into the pros? Like, like Kyle Allen and Garrett Gilbert and Taylor Heineke for 2 years. Right. And Terry McLaurin, a third-round pick, has produced with whoever, and, Dwayne Haskins, RIP, and, Alex Smith on one leg. Like, he's had, Terry McLaurin for the majority of his career has not had great quarterback play either. And he's been able to produce.
Usually overcome it. Garrett Wilson,
same
played
thing.
with Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle, Zach Wilson, and he puts up 1,000 yards. Like that's the scary thing. And Jeudy, from a skill set profile, is supposed to be similar to Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin. Like not this big jump ball player, but more of a crafty player.
Right. Yep. It doesn't seem like he gets open.
That was supposed to be his calling card.
That's my point. Is that's the argument. Is that like not like Chris Olave's been playing with prime Drew Brees down in New Orleans either. Yeah. I mean, again, like you sort of I don't know. Earning targets is a skill, and and scoring touchdowns is a skill. And to date, Jerry Jeudy has not shown either of those skills.
Well, certainly reasons to be skeptical.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.